Hey, this is Robert Amir Webb, and it's the 15th of April 2017. This is my third video today about the PSA. And what we're going to do now is begin to focus on the 7 different areas that this report deals with. First area is the graphic summary. There's 3 things you should look for here. Number 1 is scores that are below 105, which I don't like it. I can't fix it. I can't do anything about it, but these numbers down the side here are arbitrary based on the score, the whole scoring here. So I get this from Google developers. They do an incredible job with graphics, stuff that I could never do. That's one of the things I don't like. I can't set these numbers. So if I could, I would. I'd have a line for 105, because 105 is the determining number that says that you're at the threshold of a problem. Wish I could set that number. It may set when you see it for some people. Some people it won't. This one, it didn't. Anything under 105, disregard it. You're going to see all kinds of weird patterns. This one is below 105. This one's below 105. And really, these numbers really don't mean anything other than the fact the person has not scored for that personality type at all in any significant way. This one's close, it's 102. Okay. Anything that scores over 105 is potentially significant. Now, I don't see any reverses here. Reverses do happen. But what I see is stair steps to the right. You may see a stair step to the left. Usually you won't see that. This is a stair step to the right. The left is high, the middle is in the middle, and the right is lower. Stair step down to the right. And you even have it here. Okay, he's 107, so we're over 105. Stair step to the right. Stair step to the right. Your construct is holding the highest position. The optimal is holding the middle position. Maladaptation, even though it's elevated here, is holding the right position. This, to me, with the optimal above the maladaptation, says the person is kind of winning the battle with that issue. Kind of. Got to hear that word. Kind of winning the battle. Another one that you will see where the battle is not being won at all is the sandwich, the optimal sandwich. Optimal functioning in the middle is low. That almost always indicates that maladaptation is high. Much higher than you might expect, or that we should expect. And it's interesting that the 2 highest scores here we got an optimal sandwich. Now this one too is 108, so he's also higher than he should be. What has to happen in this case, when you look at this and you see this particular configuration and somebody in that group is over 105, you usually be one of these. What has to happen rather quickly is for the maladaptation to come down and the optimal score to rise, giving way to this, or better yet, something like this, or this, or this. This, no good. Maladaptation is running the show here. Absolutely running the show. The dependency and the obsessive compulsive issues are running the show. The SCP over here is a little more balanced. Although STP is a bad thing, schizotypal is a bad thing, the optimal is winning over the maladaptation. These are out of control right here. Got to get under control. Again, this is the same configurative situation as this. We've got a high construct, a higher optimal score than a maladaptation score. You want it to look like this. You want it to look like this. You want it to look as messed up like this. You don't want maladaptation to be ruling the roost. We'll talk about how that happens in reality as far as getting that down. But I'm just showing you the graph here and what the graph can teach you. When you see this, where this baby's sandwiched in the middle right here, you got a situation when somebody else is over 105. Especially when it's maladaptation, it's over 105. Okay, 1 out of 7 areas down. Let's look at the summary scores. Summary score is going to show you the same thing you just saw, only there's a little more data here and it's presented as a table instead of a graph. And you've got some colors that discriminate between other scores. First of all, you're already somewhat familiar with clusters from using the PSA before. Here we have cluster A, B, and C. And you know, above 110, with one of the scores over 120, you got a problem. The problem will be manifested in the numerical score. It's going to be light red, it's going to be dark red, but it's going to be red. Of course, we don't have any red here, so we're not throwing a cluster. A cluster is indicated by A, B, B, C. Cluster A, cluster B, cluster C. When somebody's over 120 and the average is over 110, you're going to get a cluster score up here. Your report at the bottom of the screen will show the cluster elevation and not the maladaptations, because a cluster elevation is above the level of a maladaptation. You need to deal with the global issues associated with that particular cluster elevation. You can see here the construct score. Now, construct, again, a construct is any score for paranoid. Whether it's an optimal item on the list of items or maladaptive item on the list. And remember the matching. If there's 10 optimals, there's going to be 10 maladaptive items. So the construct just simply gives us a score for paranoid. Whether it was an optimal score or maladaptive score, doesn't matter. It was a paranoid score. This shows you the direction of the personality without discrimination. Understand that. We have 114 and 114. Narcissistic, schizotypal. As far as constructs, those are the two highest constructs in the matching scores. What that says to me is, irregardless of whether a person picked optimal or maladaptive items, they picked schizotypal. They picked narcissistic. There was a favoring of items, optimal, maladaptive, doesn't matter. They picked narcissism. They picked schizotypal. They also picked dependent and antisocial. What's interesting, not really sure what it means, but this case is typical of others that I've seen. They go across the board here. Narcissism has a construct and an optimal and a maladaptation score that is elevated. The schizotypal has, again, the same three. Antisocial only has these two. Dependent only has this one and this one. And obsessive is just weird. You may see this. And I think that there's some amount of strength to the ones that have two. There's obviously a significant amount of strength to the ones that have three. The person is favoring those two. We'll go down here in a little bit and we'll look at the construct. And you're going to see that the construct matches these selections right here. It doesn't always. It will not always. I think when it does, that dual construct is extremely powerful. And you need to realize it's pretty rock solid. One other thing here before I close out this section of the video. And that is this. This is a new addition. You haven't seen this before, even if you use PSA for a long time. But what this is, and I'm not going to go into the math, but it has to do with examining all of these scores. This shows you global personality crisis. How much is this person in crisis? 102. Standardized scoring. 102 is nothing. 68% of all people, remember, fall between 90 and 110. This person's at 102 for global personality dysfunction. They don't have any global personality dysfunction. Emphasis on the word global. Okay, one final thing. On the construct and optimal, you will only find blue. Blue indicates that it's not a stoplight indicator, yellow or red or green. Okay? It's just an indicator that something's over 105. Is the construct good? Well, I'm not sure. Is optimal score good? Well, I'm not sure. I do know that a maladaptive score is not good. This is precautionary. This is precautionary. This is precautionary. Slow down. The light's about to turn red. This is pink. You will find that a score over 120 is going to turn darker red. A score over 125 is going to turn really bright red, fire engine red. So these are bad scores. Maladaptation, these are bad scores. When you get to yellow and red. The blue scores are just indicators that it's over 105. It means they scored significantly. Is it a bad influence? I don't know. You're going to have to determine that yourself. So we're done with this. The next section we're going to deal with is the personality spectrum summary. As soon as we come back to the next video.